G'day, ladies and gentlemen, it's Raccbuoy, and today it's just going to be one power-through episode of like roughly 15 minutes long, unedited, boring, but we're going to just power through this intro, and we're going to get to like we're going to get to right before the scenes where we meet the characters. So this is like the boring grind bit, but next episode's going to be great, I promise. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was because the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library, per se, at the hospital. Although it was more of a storage room for books, I'd begun working my way through it, only one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was why my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, different only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass. I trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing. Sometimes, I'd pause in realization that I didn't even know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that had surrounded me would particularly painfully crash into my consciousness. Thought the barrier of nonchalance I had set for myself. The pages of the book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to go put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that only happened rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited. Not very, it's just that he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even short of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual that the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if he'd make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down at the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eye for a moment. "Hello, hi sir. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little, back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We had all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hands and take a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications starting back at me from the paper seems immeasurable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. Organization, primal. It's like 3 of the same words just blended into one, but whatever. This is insane. The side effects, the adverse effects, contradictions, the dosages, the list line after line with cold precision. To try and read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. And all this for the rest of my life? Every day? Jeez. It's kind of deep. I'm afraid this is the best we can do at the point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Over the years? Years? What kind of confident booster is that? I'll have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Hatsui. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think it's that wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It is a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designated to give students a degree of independence while keeping them help nearby. Independence? A school for disabled kids? Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's the only way if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look at a couple of weeks back. I think you'll like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, with your condition, usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call me a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the change to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. Although the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way, it's geared towards the students that can still get around it and learn, but need a little help in one way or another. Your father is right. And why has Mum not said anything yet? Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That is true. Those are words of wisdom right there. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. Oh, so I'm such a pessimist. I really hate that something is so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. Counting Crows put up a parking lot .mp3. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction or shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I could go back to school anyway, but no, I don't say anything. The fact is that I don't know. It's now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all of this. The hospital doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school? What are those even like? And as much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake just to resign myself to thinking that. And at the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. I got a sassy attitude, but too shy to say anything. Wow, that art style though. Whoa, that's almost like a photo. Damn, art's getting good these days. Unless that is a photo and I'm just a retard. The gate looked far too pompous for what it is. In fact, the gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and grey plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but I couldn't really decide. Probably no. I'm gonna say no for a school. Just looks like the gate for a fucking mental institution, if I'm gonna be quite frank. School gate should just be like a 4-foot little wire fence. TBH. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for so long, so I entered through it within a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yakuma Academy. Yamaku. Can't Japanese, soz. Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park with a clean walkway going past the trees and a smell of fresh grass. The smell of fresh cut grass and other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into mind to makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it is, or comes, even. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought, and I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this was my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real, because by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having to feel that this step down into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the grass hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that their operating rooms are painted green because green is calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the Halsey main building, I surprised myself by realizing what the gates bothered me. It was the last chance. I had to turn back. Even if I had no life, I could return to. But I still, after entering, and there was absolutely no way I could get back anymore, feeling nervous, and with all this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with a bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Nikki? Nake. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Mutsu. Can't Japanese, okay? Welcome. We exchange handshakes that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you before a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Oh, I gotta think of a voice for this one. Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get along and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting? For me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but it's inevitable for in a situation like this. Somehow, knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself? Yourself to the class? Yeah, sure, I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one giving the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. Alright, that's all the time I'm gonna have for this episode thing. Yeah.